Well, thanks for staying with us. It's time now for Media Watch, for which I'm joined by James Creedon. Hi, James.
Good evening, Georgia.
So we're going to start off with social media here in France in the run-up to Sunday's election. There's a real lockdown as authorities try and stop early poll results being leaked out online.
That's right. We saw this 2 weeks ago, Georgia, with the first round of voting, where Belgian and Swiss media were coming out with exit poll results before the 8 p.m. closing of polls, which you can't do in France because it's illegal, and you're not allowed to broadcast exit poll results before all of the polls shut. So it's quite a controversial issue, and it came up already 2 weeks ago. Now it's coming up again. You can see here on Belgian websites, they are pointing to the fact that newspaper websites, the state broadcaster, they're all gearing up to give out exit poll results from about 6 p.m. in the evening, even earlier. And that's obviously would be illegal in France. Worth pointing out that those initial early exit poll results are not always fully reliable. So I suppose the message being tune into France 24 at 8 p.m. to get the right result. You can see here as well, Radio Londres had the hashtag Radio London. That was a big feature of the first campaign, the first round of voting online. People going onto Twitter and looking up this hashtag Radio London, which is a reference to Charles de Gaulle back in the Second World War when he was broadcasting from London back into France using coded language. And what people were doing on Twitter to get around this law, whereby they weren't allowed to retweet or share exit poll results before 8 p.m. is they were using coded language. So already you can see people gearing up again to do the same this weekend. And you can see here one Twitter user saying, from midnight tonight, which is when we're not allowed to talk about the election anymore, bye-bye polls and welcome back Radio Londres. So people saying, we're going to get around these rules, these antiquated rules, on social media. Now, social media, I suppose it was a big feature of the campaign because it's changed a lot in the last 5 years. And we saw during the debate, in fact, that Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande had 2 days ago, that they were banding around facts and figures all night long. 97 times Nicolas Sarkozy mentioned some fact, or some figure rather, or percentage. A lot of the time it was incorrect or spun, the details were spun. And you can see here what happened was on social media. One particular example of it was the Veritomètre, which was put in place by a website called OVNI. Now, they were checking facts and figures and putting them up on social media as the debate evolved. And what they found out was that on 73% of the occasions when he did mention a figure or a fact, François Hollande was correct, 41% for Nicolas Sarkozy, but worth pointing out that he did use facts and figures a lot more often. Now, what certain analysts have been saying in this article, for example, on the Nouvel Observateur, is that fact-checking might well be integrated into the television debate at some point in the future. So instead of having two journalists sitting there not intervening and allowing all of the intervention or correction to take place online, that there might be some way of combining the two, maybe a split screen or having a fact checker on the set. Also, what with this whole Radio Londres business, which has been such an upset for the authorities who've been threatening big fines throughout the campaign for on the 2 Sundays for those who shared the votes, we might see a situation where exit poll results will also be I suppose, adapted, or perhaps all polls will close a little earlier to allow exit poll results to come out. In any case, what we're seeing is social media upsetting the status quo. And I think, instead of laws trying to clamp down on social media, I think it's the other way around that things are going to go inevitably, and people are just going to have to adapt, or the laws are going to have to adapt to social media.
On the spot fact checking, that could light some fires under politicians.
Absolutely.
Now, the media's also been focusing on a Freudian slip made by the defence minister.
That's right. Now, we'll just take a quick look at this. He's Gérard Longuet is his name, known to have had connections with the far-right movement in his youth, and he has recently made statements more or less saying that the Front National, or the National Front far-right party, that, we can talk to them, we can perhaps do business with them. So anyway, listen to a Freudian slip he made on our sister radio station, RFI, this morning.
Et donc la question se pose à la gauche comme à la droite. Comment gérer une relation avec un parti qui a la tentation de se banaliser? Et pour nous, au Front National, pour eux, au Front National, c'est un vrai problème.
And just very quickly, one more poll saying Sarkozy has a chance.
That's right. Now, this was in Atlantico, if I could find it. They're talking about one poll which actually polls by region in France instead of across the whole country. Now, what that poll has found out is that, in fact, often, if I could find it, often these national polls, they don't take into account that people vote very differently from one region to the next. And if you voted centrist or if you voted far right in the first round, you're going to have to pick a different candidate in the second round. And it can vary massively as to whether you would be swung to the left or the right, varying on the region. Now, this particular poll, not one of the big polling agencies, says that Nicolas Sarkozy will win based on their calculations, region by region. So who knows? All of the polls say Hollande will win, except this one. So we'll have to tune in on Sunday.
Well, there's always an outside chance. Thanks very much, James. Do stay with us. More coming up shortly.
Can plants be saved from their deathbed? Join us for Environment This Week in Brest, where botanists are turning to biotechnology to resuscitate some of the world's lost gardens.
Don't miss Environment, Saturday 11:40 a.m. Paris time, on France 24.
Culture without frontiers and with an open mind. Artists who've stood the test of time. Stars, discoveries and some razzmatazz. Cultural diversity from the four corners of the globe. Monday to Thursday, 5:15 p.m. Paris time on France 24.